Welcome to another meeting of TV Holics Anonymous. Quick, hit the follow button so you never miss an episode. You can also follow us on our socials too: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, YouTube, and give us a 5-star rating on whatever you're listening to this podcast on. Welcome to another meeting of TV Holics Anonymous. My name is Ruru, and I am a TV holic. Today, again, Mimi's not here. And last time, the last episode 7 of $1 Million Secret, I didn't give it any soju bottles, so I wanted to give that episode, I'd say about 6 soju bottles out of 10 bottles of soju, because I think it could have been better. It was good, but it could have been better, and I just didn't like how certain things went down. Also, this episode, I want to give it about 8 bottles of soju because I feel like they could add more suspense. Although it was really good, they could have added more like games and like situations and added more like, scenarios. They could have like beefed it up a bit, made it more intense. And I just want to say I was right, because I predicted, if you go back to the first 3 episodes that I recapped, I predicted that someone, we won't talk about it till the end, like the person that I predicted would win, because, I'll get into it. Let's just go on with the pod. So basically, in the beginning of this episode, they just have like Peter riding around, the mountains, in like wherever it is. I think it is in Canada, in his like Rolls Royce, and he's got the top down, and he's just like, we're just like looking at the scenery, like the I believe it's a lake, and we're looking at the house from the lake view, and it's just like very scenic, very beautiful. It's kind of like the calm before the storm, and you're just seeing everyone talking. So you see Kat talking about being in the final 4, and how, like, she's made a mess for herself, like she's in a bit of a pickle. And then you also see other people too. You see, who do you see next? You see Lauren, and you see that she's got like this book, this diary that she's been writing notes on everyone and everything about. So she's very detail oriented, and her daughter gave her that, and she wants to do this for her family. And then we move on to see like Kaleb and Nick, and it's just like, it's the final day, and we're going to see who wins. So then everyone's just like talking in their confessionals and stuff, and basically they're talking about how there's like winners and losers, and like it's just, they're just like summing everything up. And then there's the breakfast, and Peter comes to talk to them and says like, this is like the final 3 guests will be set like after we play this like next game. And everyone's just like listening, and then you'll have to check out of the stag, either like $1 million richer, or like, not. So like he's like, basically Peter's like, change into your like poolside best and happy hunting. And then basically Lauren's like, that never makes me feel any better. I love her little comments. She's a very interesting person. Like I said before, I liked what she had to say, and they just keep showing these like beautiful shots of around like the chateau, or whatever it's called, the stag, and it just looks beautiful everywhere. They all come out dressed like to go swimming. They've got their swimwear on underneath their like clothes. They're like trying to figure out what they're going to be doing, and they can see a puzzle in the pool. And so they kind of like guesstimate that that's what they're going to be up to. So it's just like so beautiful. Like, watching this whole thing, it just I'm like in awe of the beauty of the place, like everything surrounding it. And like it's just like I think it's like I said in Canada, so it's just very, very beautiful and picturesque. And I think it's very remote, this place. Um I did do like a little deep dive into like the area and stuff, like in the first three episodes I talked about it. And it's called the Chateau something. It's like a French style chateau. Um, and so basically they got divided up into teams at the pool by Peter actually picking from a kind of like bag and picking their names or picking their keys, I believe. Um, and then they like were split into these groups. So it was Kat and Kaleb, I believe. And then there was I keep wanting to call him Nick. Yeah, is it Nick? Not the keys, it was the like these tokens with their, their animal symbols. And then it was, yeah, Lauren and Nick. Yeah, that's his name, Nick. Um, and Kat and Kaleb. So then they went to do the diving like bit. So like Kat decided she's going to do the diving, and Nick decided he was going to do the diving, and the people that were um solving the clues or like trying to figure out if the statements were correct or not, were Kaleb and Lauren. And I think they both did like a really good job. But unfortunately, one team has to win and one team has to lose. And unfortunately, the solvers didn't like Kaleb wasn't able to solve one of the things quick enough, and Kat wasn't able to put the last square in quick enough. There was a lot of suspense in this. Again, I think they could have done a few more games, like to, like just to make it more interesting. So yeah, like Kaleb and Kat did not win, and they ended up losing. And then it was like told to Nick and Lauren that they have to pick at dinner who they want to send home. So they decided to send home like everyone. So I thought it was really sweet that Kaleb kind of consoled um Kat at the pool because she was crying after they lost. And then Kat went to have a little chat to Kaleb after they lost, and she was trying to do some like reconnaissance work and trying to figure out if Kaleb was the secret millionaire or not, and find out if he was into fashion and he had ever owned like a fashion store or anything like that. So she asked those questions and she just tried to play it off like it was casual. But Kaleb picked up on what she was doing because he also knew that she didn't have, like, she made up the clue. So she that's what she said. That's what she went to Kaleb about. So then next, she kind of like tried to use this to like keep her in the game. So she went to um Lauren and was asking like, who do you want to keep in? Who do you want to get out? And she's like, basically, I want to get out the millionaire because I want like a chance of getting the million in my, you know, in my box. I think it's better that way because there's a 33% chance. So Kat was like, okay, I know what to do now. So she basically, and then basically Kaleb was talking to Nick at the same time, and he's basically told Nick that there's a clue in not a clue. Kat is basically saying that she's got a uh. Wait, hang on. Let me just have a look. Uh, she yeah. So he just kind of like divulged some information, saying that Kat's definitely the millionaire, and he's like, Caleb's like, I know that you guys have like only two options here, and I realize that it's hard for you guys, and you don't know which one to pick, and I want to try and like make sure that you don't, get rid of me. And honestly, I understand that you guys like basically in a tough spot here, and then Nick's like, from a gameplay perspective, I'd rather keep the person who doesn't have the million. or like something like that. No, not that it doesn't have the million, but they, at this point, Nick and Lauren don't suspect Kaleb of having the money. So that's good for Kaleb because, he wants to fly under the radar and get into the next part, the final three, without, anyone knowing. So he can keep the money. So then he's basically like saying that she, like trying to throw Kat under the bus by saying that I think her real clue was something else. And, I forgot really what happened, but let's move on to the dinner. So at dinner, like they lay everything out on the table and then they basically decide that they're going to be like voting for, so they're eating dinner, they hear everyone's point of view, and from what they say, they both think, Kat and Kaleb have to go off while Lauren and Nick discuss who they want. So they can't decide who they want, and eventually they get to the point where they decide, that it's going to be Kat that they vote off. And she opens her box up and she doesn't have the money. And then Kaleb has like this huge reaction to it. So Nick figures out that it's Kaleb. Caleb's got the money. And he basically kind of like moves on to the next challenge thinking that he has to win. Like all of them think they have to win, but Kaleb, when it's the final three, the last challenge, they have to look at all these like things in a box. And I tried to do this at the same time as them. It was pretty easy. I paused it for 5 seconds and I got most of them. So I don't know how like Lauren like fumbled the bag, but I understand how she fumbled the bag in this challenge as well, because there was a lot of pressure. Like you could see the pressure in Nick as well. I think Kaleb could have won this if he'd won the challenge instead of like holding back. If he'd won this, he might have won the whole entire game. But he was also trying to fly under the radar. So I don't know. Anyway, so Kaleb is basically looking, he goes first because I forgot why he goes first. Why did they say that he could go first? I don't know why. Anyway, he went first. So he got in this challenge he got 4 more points. That's what the millionaire got basically. And no one knows who the millionaire is. So they're all thinking, like Nick's thinking, if it's Lauren or Kaleb, I'll know because they'll be the clear winner from this challenge. And then Nick ends up winning, basically. Lauren fumbles this because, like I said, she's stressed. I thought Nick was going to terribly fumble it because he was stuck at like 4 items, and then he just like powerhoused through and like he did it under pressure. It was really good. I think Kaleb played very well as well, but there was 2 ways he could have played it. I think it's harder on the person with the money because like there's a lot of stress. You have to pretend that you don't have the money constantly and bluff. I'd really like to see all 3 of these players on another Netflix show. I think they'd be really great, especially another competition Netflix show, like maybe something like The Mole or something like that. I think they'd be great on that, or another kind of like competition show. Nothing's really coming to mind at the moment, but I think that would be ideal for all 3 of these. Especially I think Nick would do really good at figuring out who the mole is because, like I said, okay, so let me just carry on and then I'll explain why. So yeah, so then they go into the room, like, so last comes Lauren, and then it's Kaleb, and then it was Nick, who like got the most right. So then they go into the into the last phase when there's three of them. So they're all standing there with their boxes. And Lauren, because she came in last, she can't do anything. She can't move any boxes, but they can all ask each other's questions. Nick, because he won, he's the person that gets to move the box last. And Kaleb is the one that moves the box first. So they're all asking each other questions. And Lauren says, I'm going to refuse to answer any questions. So Caleb's strategy is to make Nick think that it's Lauren. So he's like, oh, this is super suspicious. And it's coming across really like blatant what he's doing. Like, this wasn't a good strategy by Kaleb. If I was Kaleb, I would have just kept my mouth shut and not said anything like Lauren, because I think that's more, confusing to Nick. The more, like, Nick's very good at reading people, so I think he'd be really good at poker as well. Like Hunter, because Hunter was a poker player. Anyway, so yeah, so that's what he does. And then both of them go out the room. Nick and Lauren go out the room, and Kaleb has to make a decision whether he wants to move the contents of his box or not. So we don't basically we see that he says that he does not want to move the contents of the box. He wants to keep it with him. And that comes in at the end. I'll talk about that. Then they all go off to the not dining hall, the the couches, in the study or wherever it is. Not study. Yeah, I think it's the study, where the fireplace is, and they're sitting, and then Lauren's like, I'll let you two talk. And so Nick asks a few questions to Kaleb, and Caleb's like, well, I moved it. I moved my box to you. And then Nick is like, sweating and like freaking out. And I would be at this point too. Like, he looks so stressed. And Kaleb like tried to keep his cool, but you could see that he was quite stressed as well. But, because he was so intense about it. But, either way, you'd be intense about it, even if you didn't have the million, like, because you're trying to figure out what the other person's doing and stuff. Like, it's a high intensity situation. So then they all go back, and no one, like, neither of them think it was, Nick doesn't think it's Lauren. So he's just debating whether or not. So Nick just goes back by himself, and he's just debating whether or not to take Caleb's box or not. And he's like freaking out, and he doesn't know what to do. And then in the end, basically, everyone comes back, and everyone opens their boxes, and Nick's got the money. And Nick is basically, his theory was that, Kaleb, he played poker with him, and he's very conservative the way he plays. So there's no way that he would, like bluff and give Nick the money. And that's why Nick decided to take Caleb's box, because Kaleb would definitely have kept the money himself, because he's a conservative like person. He's cautious like that, with his money. So that ultimately, his reading skills of people ultimately helped him win the entire competition. And I pinpointed that this guy would win the competition because he's very, very like observant, and he doesn't speak a lot. People that are very observant and just sit back and don't talk too much are usually the ones that gather the most information from people, and like they notice everything, and they can spot anything basically. So those are the most like powerful people in games like this, the observant type of person. And they can read people very well, and they just sit back and watch. And I thought he was perfect for this game. And I think like I said, he'd be perfect for like a game like The Mole, because he's got such great observational skills, and he will definitely be able to sniff out anyone that is like pretending, to, not be the mole, and who's sabotaging everyone else in all the games. I think that, yeah, he'd do really good in that. So Netflix, if you're listening, or anyone at Netflix is listening, put Nick on the mole, because I think he'd be fantastic. Also, I think that Lauren and Kaleb would do really good on the mole as well, because they too are like really interesting characters. So yeah, those are my thoughts. And like I said, like also Nick can go on other shows, like dating shows on Netflix as well, if he's single. Because he's as Lauren called him, handsome Nick. So yeah, and I want to see like if Nick and Yumiko actually have a like thing really, or was it just like fake flirting for the game? Like, are they going to get together? What's going to happen with that? We need some like backstory to that as well. I'd love to know. Like, I'm going to check out their socials now and see what's going on and find out. So let me do that in real time. So you all can find out at the same time with me. So, oh, nope. Let's go to Nick. Nick. What's the show called? Secret Millionaire Nick. So I want to just see his Insta. He's with Kat doing something. I think this is their press thing. She's taking pictures. She's wearing an interesting outfit. He pushes her out the way. I think they're rapping or something. I don't know what's going on here. He's with some other Jersey. Oh yeah, he's from Jersey and she's like in Virginia. So they're not even that far apart from each other. So I guess they could make it work. I don't know, but I feel like he's with Kat because there's a lot of pictures with him and Kat. Oh, and there's Kaleb and there's Hunter. Ooh, I can't really see Yumiko in any of the pictures, so that's not really good. He's in bed with Hunter. Or is that bed or what? I don't know. Let me check that out again. I feel like that was a bed shot. Yeah, this does look like, yeah, this is a bed. I don't know what's going on there. I can't see any Yumiko stuff at all. This is sad. I don't know what's happened there. I think he's with Kat. Yeah, because they're in bed together, like watching. Oh no. What about Yumiko? Yeah, I think he's with Kat. Let's actually go to Kat's page and see if they're together. Oh, that's Nick. That's Hunter. Okay, let's. This is really annoying. I hate it when they just don't like. Okay, Kat. Let's see, Kat. Oh, Yumiko's there as well. She's sitting next to Kat, but she's not in any of Nick's pictures. She's in Kat's pictures. So that's interesting. That's weird and interesting at the same time. I don't know what to think now. I was rooting for them. I was rooting for those crazy kids. But it seems like maybe Kat is with him. Can someone let me know what's going on there? Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it looks like maybe her and Nick are together. I don't know. Someone please clarify what's happened. If you know, comment and let me know what happened because I was really like rooting for Yumiko and Nick because I can't even find her socials. This is pretty sad. Yumiko. Oh, there she is. Yeah, I can't really. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're together. Doesn't look like they're happy bunnies. Yeah, they're not together. That's sad. That's sad. Oh. Oh well. Anyway, sorry. I was just going through their socials and they're not together, guys. They're not together. That's sad. But like I said, Kat might be with Nick. I don't know. Very unclear from what I've seen. Someone let me know. Comment, let me know. I will definitely be doing season 3, talking about that when it comes out next year. And I will be back with a lot more K-drama stuff, Korean TV, Japanese stuff, also some Chinese stuff too, TV. And I've got some other stuff coming up, I believe, pretty soon. I can't remember what it is exactly, but let me just check for you guys. I believe we've got some Singles Inferno stuff still to come, the reunion, and Exo Kitty. I talked about season 1 and season 2, so that's coming up as well. And then there's also what else is there? There's also Zombieverse season 1 that I recapped. That's like coming up soon as well. And the K-drama Are You Human? And then also another K-drama, My Love from the Start. And we're also going to be, me and Mimi, when we get the time, recapping season 2 of Bloodhounds and season 2 of Agents of Mystery. And so much other stuff coming up as well. We've just got so much to get through. So bear with us. Follow us click the follow button right now as I'm speaking, so you guys don't miss anything, because we're going to have so much stuff coming up. It's unbelievable. Also, we're on social media too, so if you haven't followed us there, follow us there. And we will be back very, 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 very soon. So if there's anything you guys want us to, any shows you want us to talk about specifically, comment and let us know, because we'll be happy to do that. And hopefully the next time I talk to you guys, it'll be with Mimi, or maybe not, but when, we're trying to like schedule when we can like podcast together, because it's kind of hectic right now for both of us. So that's why I've been doing some on my own. Mimi really hasn't had the time, and I've just been trying to like shove some in to get so that you guys have content. Anyway, bye. Quick, hit the follow button so you never miss an episode. You can also follow us on our socials too: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, YouTube, and give us a 5-star rating on whatever you're listening to this podcast on.